Welcome to Serving with Success, Verification. This module is a critical portion of the administrative review. Noncompliance in this area may result in withheld reimbursement payments or fiscal action by the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, Food and Nutrition Services. In this module, participants will learn the process of verification, including the application selection process for verification, and the process for the correct and timely completion of the FNS 742 Verification Collection Report. The United States Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition Service requires that local education agencies conduct annual verification to confirm the eligibility of currently approved applications as part of the free and reduced price eligibility requirements under the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. Annual verification is only required for a sample of students whose eligibility is certified using a household application. Verification must include either confirmation of income eligibility or a case number for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Program, or the Food Distribution Program on Indian reservations. Verification is not required for children who have been certified under direct certification procedures, including children documented as eligible without an application, such as migrant, runaway, homeless, foster children, and those participating in Head Start and Even Start. You should be familiar with the following terms used in this module. Sample pool, the total number of applications approved as of October 1st. Sample size, the number of applications subject to verification. The minimum and maximum sample size is 3% of the total. Error-prone describes applications which show an income within $100 per month or $1,200 annually of the income allowed for a household according to the applicable income eligibility guidelines. Random sampling means each application must have an equal chance of being selected for validation. The verification process includes the following. Annually, each LEA is required to select and verify an exact sample of applications approved for benefits as of October 1st. This is referred to as the sample pool. The LEA must use either the 3% standard sample size method or an alternate size method. The required sample size is based on the total number of approved applications on file as of October 1st and the non-response rate of the previous school year. The LEA must complete the verification of the required sample size by November 15th. The LEA must complete a verification summary report on the DESE web application system by December 15th.
On the MoDESE website, the verification guidance booklet is available each year to complete the verification process. It's a great resource. It's got lots of handouts and different tools, forms that can be filled out and submitted to the households to be completed during verification.
The first step in verification is determining the sample pool. The sample pool is the total number of approved applications on file as of October 1st. The sample pool is based on the number of applications, not on the number of children eligible for this benefit. LEAs may choose to not include applications for students participating in the Special Milk Program. Steps establishing the sample size include determining the number of applications to be verified, which are taken from the sample pool. When calculating sample size, fractions or decimals are rounded up to the next whole number. There are 3 sample sizes established for verification activities: standard sample size, alternate 1 random, and alternate 2 focused. At least one application must be verified. Factors regarding the standard sample size include LEAs with a non-response rate of 20% or more for the prior school year are required to use the standard sample size method. Sample size is determined by selecting either 3,000 or 3% of all approved applications. The smaller number is used. The verification sample size is drawn from error-prone applications. These are applications which show a monthly income within $100 of the maximum amount allowed for a household, or within $1,200 of the maximum amount allowed annually. An LEA may qualify to use an alternate sample size based on lower non-response rates. In the alternate one or random approach, the sample size is determined by random selection of 3,000 or 3% of the total number of approved applications on file on October 1st. Use the smaller number to calculate the sample size using the following procedure. Count the total number of approved applications on file as of October 1st. Multiply the total by 0.03. Round decimals upward and use this number if it is less than 3,000. At least one of the selected applications must be verified. Consult the eligibility manual to determine if your school qualifies to use an alternate method to determine sample size. In this example, the LEA has 310 approved applications on file as of October 1st. Multiply 310 by 0.03 for a result of 9.3. Round this number up to 10. The LEA must randomly select and verify 10 applications. In the alternate 2 or focused approach, the sample size is determined by counting the total of approved applications on file as of October 1st. Select 1% or 1,000 of approved applications, whichever is less, and selecting the sample size from error-prone applications. Plus, from the categorically eligible applications, those with a case number in lieu of income information, add 0.5% of the total, or 500 approved applications. Use the smaller of these numbers. The number of error-prone applications is then added to the number of categorically eligible applications to obtain the sample size. Factors for confirmation reviews include: after the sample size is determined and applications are chosen, an LEA official must review each of the selected approved applications to confirm the initial determination of eligibility. This should be done by someone other than the determining official or verifying official. This requirement is waived if the LEA uses a technology-based system that demonstrates a high level of accuracy in determining initial eligibility. LEAs must contact the MoDESI FNS to determine if their systems qualify for this waiver. If LEAs conduct a confirmation review of applications at the time of certification, it is not necessary to conduct a confirmation review prior to verification. Possible outcomes of confirmation reviews include: no change in status. The initial eligibility status is correct and the LEA verifies the application. Status change from reduced price to free. The LEA verifies the application. If the status change is confirmed, the LEA makes the increased benefits available immediately and notifies the household of the change in benefits. Status change from free to reduced price. The LEA verifies the application. If the status change from free to either reduced price or paid is confirmed, the household is sent a notice of adverse action. Status change from free or reduced price to paid. The LEA does not verify the application and immediately sends the household a notice of adverse action. The LEA selects a similar application for replacement, for example another error-prone application, and follows the confirmation review procedures for the newly selected application. Consider the following points when replacing applications to complete the verification process. Upon completion of confirmation reviews, the LEA may replace up to 5% of applications selected. In those LEAs where 5% of total applications equal less than 1, a single application may still be replaced. All calculation results should be rounded up to the next whole number. The determination to replace applications is made if the LEA believes the household would be unable to satisfactorily respond to the verification request. Any application removed from the sample size must be replaced with another approved application using the same selection criteria. For instance, if an error-prone application is withdrawn, it must be replaced by another error-prone application. The newly selected application must then have a confirmation review.
If an application has been selected for verification, a school needs to notify the family by a letter to say that you have been selected to be verified. And that letter needs to have the non-discrimination statement on there and then what information needs to be submitted back to the school by a certain date in order to continue to receive benefits.
In order to obtain the necessary verification information, LEAs must make at least one attempt to contact households that fail to respond to the initial verification request. This attempt may be made via U.S. mail, telephone, email, or through personal contact. The LEA must document these attempts to contact the household and any results. Acceptable documentation of income or receipt of SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR benefits may be provided for any point in time between the month prior to application and the time income documentation is required. If a household is selected for regular verification or verification for cause, and the application indicates zero income, the LEA must request the household provide explanation of how living expenses are met. Additional written documentation may be requested. If these efforts leave the LEA unable to verify the household's eligibility status, the meal benefits must be terminated and the household is sent a written notice of adverse action. Verification methods. Written evidence is the primary source of eligibility confirmation for all households, including those receiving SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR benefits. Written evidence may be pay stubs from employers or award letters from welfare departments or other government agencies submitted by the household to the verifying officials as confirmation of eligibility. Acceptable written evidence contains the name of the household members, amount of income received, and the frequency and dates of payment.
If the application has that the husband and wife are both working and they're receiving benefits based on their wages, then we would want to see a W-2 or a work earning statement, something that would show here's how much money I'm making or I receive from the business that I'm employed at.
A collateral contact is a person outside of the household who is knowledgeable about the household's circumstances and can confirm the household's income or SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR status, or other categorical eligibility status. Collateral contacts include employers, social service agencies, migrant workers agencies, and religious or civic organizations. The verifying official should request a collateral contact only in cases when the household has not been able to provide adequate written evidence. The verifying official must give the household the opportunity to designate the collateral contact. However, if the household fails to designate an acceptable collateral contact, then the verifying official may do so. In either case, no contact may be made without first obtaining permission from the household to do so. Collateral contacts may be written or verbal and are to be documented, dated, and initialed. Agency records. A household's eligibility may be confirmed through information maintained by other government agencies to which the state agency, LEA, or school has legal access. Although USDA regulations do not require that households be notified of selection when verification is made through agency records, other agencies may have their own notification requirements. One source of agency records is the wage and benefit information maintained by the state employment agency, if that information is available to the verifying official. State law governs the release of any information contained in state records. The LEA may also submit the names and case numbers of categorically eligible households to the local food stamp or temporary assistance office, which are permitted by law to release eligibility information to other federal assistance programs and federally assisted state programs. When using agency records, the LEA should request information for any point in time between the month prior to application and the time the household is required to provide income documentation. Households which dispute the validity of income information acquired through systems of records must be given the opportunity to send more recent income information during the 10-day period of advance notice of adverse action. Consider the following points for direct verification. Direct verification uses records from public agencies to verify income and/or program participation. The LEAs are not required to perform direct verification. Direct verification may be used when the household application is certified based on a SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR case number. It is subject to verification under the LEA's use of alternative sample size methods. When direct verification is used to confirm eligibility, households are not required to provide verification documents, and the LEA is not required to send a letter informing the household of its selection. The notification of selection for verification must include a request for the household to submit written evidence of income for all household members. This can be from any point in time between the month prior to application and the time income documentation is required. Verification of a household's income eligibility for free or reduced price meals must result in one of the following. No change in benefit level. The household's documentation supports the level of benefits for which the household has been approved. Reduction in benefit level. The household's documentation identifies income as too high for the level of benefits for which the child has been approved. Therefore, the household's eligibility must be changed from free to reduced price or from free or reduced price to full price. Increase in benefit level. The household's documentation qualifies the household for free meals rather than reduced price meals. Therefore, the household's eligibility must be changed from reduced price to free meals. Termination of benefits. Free and reduced price benefits must be terminated for households that do not respond to verification efforts or lack adequate documentation to support eligibility for either free or reduced price meals. If verification results in a change in benefit level or termination, the change must be extended to all children in the household who were determined eligible by information which no longer supports the benefit level. If verification results in increased benefits, that is, a child who is moved from the reduced price to free category, the change is effective immediately. The LEA should notify the household of the change in benefits. If the household does not respond to the request for income information or submits insufficient or obsolete evidence after a follow-up attempt has been made, the LEA may again contact the household to request the missing written evidence and inform the household that failure to comply or to designate a collateral contact will result in termination of benefits.
We encourage schools to contact the families at least once, but as many times as it takes. And that can be through sending letters home to the parents. That can be phone calls or emails, but you want to try to communicate with the families and let them know that we need to have this documents before the certain date or their status or their benefits will be denied.
If the household subsequently cooperates, then either the previous determination of eligibility is confirmed or the determination is made that benefits will be changed. Benefits may be terminated if the household fails to respond to the follow-up request for written evidence. Verification is considered complete when the advance notice of adverse action is sent to the household. All households for whom benefits are to be reduced or terminated must be given 10 calendar days advance notice of the change. The first day of the advance notice period is the day the notice is sent. The notice must advise the household of the following: the change in benefits, the reasons for the change, that an appeal must be filed within the 10-day advance notice period to ensure continued benefits while awaiting a hearing and decision, instructions on how to appeal, that the household may reapply for benefits at any time during the school year. When the household appeals a reduction or termination of benefits within the 10 calendar day advance notice period, the LEA must continue to provide the benefits for which the child was originally approved until a final determination is made. When a household does not appeal a reduction or termination of benefits during the 10 calendar day advance notice period, the actual reduction or termination of benefits must take place immediately after the 10-day advance notice period. The appeals hearing should be conducted as follows. The hearing procedure in the LEA's free and reduced price policy statement must be followed. The hearing official must be an individual who was not connected with the approval or verification process. The household may request a school conference prior to a formal hearing. Any such conference must not prejudice a later appeal. Households affected by a reduction or termination of benefits may reapply for benefits at any time during the school year. However, those households that reapply in the same school year and were terminated for failure to respond to verification efforts must submit income documentation or proof of participation in the SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR programs at the time of reapplication. The LEA may verify the household's eligibility prior to approval. These are not considered new applications, since these households did not comply with the verification requirements. Documentation is useful in demonstrating compliance with the verification requirements when LEAs are reviewed by the state and would also be needed in case of an applicant's appeal. LEAs must maintain a description of their verification efforts. The description must include a summary of the verification efforts, including the selection process and the source of information used, such as the food stamp office, wage stubs, and collateral contacts. The total number of applications on file on October 1st. The percentage or number of applications that have been or will be verified by November 15th. The reasons for any denial or change of eligibility and the date. All verified applications must be readily retrievable by the school and include all documents submitted by the household in an effort to confirm eligibility, reproductions of those documents, or annotations made by the determining official which indicate which documents were submitted by the household and the date of submission. The LEA should also maintain all relevant correspondence between the households selected for verification and the LEA or school. Results of verification and documentation. The dates of any changes in eligibility or denial of benefits, and the reasons for the changes or denial. LEAs should keep a full record of the dates notices were sent, notes on any contacts made, and the signature of the confirming official. The verification report is due December 15th and is available in the DESE FNS web application system. To submit the verification report, click on the Applications tab, select the verification report, enter the results of verification. Note that some direct certification numbers are necessary. Also note that throughout the verification report, the acronym SFA, School Food Authority, is used in place of LEA, Local Education Agency. Completing the verification report. Section 1. Schools, residential child care institutions, and enrolled students. The following notes and instructions are provided to help properly complete the verification report. All LEAs must complete Section 1. Report schools or residential child care institutions operating the National School Lunch Program and/or the School Breakfast Program as of the last operating day in October. Sections 1-1A and B indicate the number of public or non-public schools and number of students with access to National School Lunch Program and/or the School Breakfast Program. Sections 1-2A and B is for residential child care institutions only. Indicate the number of RCCIs and number of students with access to National School Lunch Program and/or the School Breakfast Program. Sections 1-2AA and 1-2AB. Of the RCCIs reported in 1-2A, enter the number with day students and the number of day students with access to the National School Lunch Program and/or the School Breakfast Program. Day students are those who are not institutionalized and whose eligibility is determined individually by application or direct certification. Sections 1-2BA and 1-2BB. Of the RCCIs reported in 1-2A, enter the number of RCCIs with no day students and the number of institutionalized students. Section 2. LEAs with schools operating alternative provisions. Only LEAs with alternative provisions or participation in the Community Eligibility Provision or CEP must report in Section 2. LEAs reporting in Section 2 also must report in Section 1. Report schools or RCCIs operating the National School Lunch Program and/or the School Breakfast Program as of the last operating day in October. Sections 2-1 and 2-2 indicate the number of schools and students with Provision 2 and 3 in both breakfast and lunch. In Missouri, this will only be by RCCIs that have implemented Provision 3 for both the National School Lunch Program and/or the School Breakfast Program. Section 2-3 must be completed by LEAs participating in CEP. Section 2-4 is not completed by any LEA in Missouri. Section 2-5A and B must be completed by LEAs that have implemented Provision 2 for breakfast only. Section 3. Students approved as free eligible not subject to verification. All LEAs must report Section 3 or check Box 3-1 if applicable. Report students approved free eligible as of the last operating day in October. Section 3-1. Check the box only if all schools and/or RCCIs were not required to perform direct certification. If all schools participate in CEP, check Box 3-1. If only some schools participate in CEP, do not check Box 3-1 and complete the remaining questions in Section 3. Section 3-2. Enter the number of students directly certified through SNAP. Missouri does not utilize the letter method for directly certifying students. Therefore, disregard any reference to the letter method. If a student is eligible by means of another program in addition to SNAP, for example, TANF benefits or homeless, always include the student in the SNAP category. Also include any students deemed eligible based on extended categorical eligibility via an eligible student in the primary household who has been directly certified with SNAP. Section 3-3. Enter the number of students directly certified through other programs. Include those directly certified through TANF, FDPIR, and those documented as homeless, migrant, runaway, foster, Head Start, Pre-K Even Start, or any non-applicants approved by local officials. Note that Medicaid is not applicable for Missouri. Also include any student deemed eligible based on extended categorical eligibility via an eligible student in the primary household who has been directly certified with TANF or FDPIR. Do not include SNAP students already reported in Section 3-2. Section 3-4. Do not enter a number in this field, as Missouri does not utilize the SNAP letter method. Section 4. Students approved as free or reduced price eligible through a household application. All LEAs collecting applications must report in this section. Report the number of applications, A, approved as of October 1st. Report the number of students, B, as of the last operating day in October. Section 5. All LEAs must report Section 5 or check Box 5-1 if exempt from verification. If exempt, no further reporting is necessary in Section 5. Section 5-2. Indicate if verification was performed and completed. If verification is not completed by the November 15th deadline, an extension must be requested from the state agency and a corrective action plan submitted. Section 5-3. Types of verification process used. Standard verification, previously referred to as basic. Verify 3% of error-prone applications. Alternate 1, previously referred to as random. Verify 3% of randomly selected applications. Alternate 2, previously referred to as focus. Verify the lesser of 1% of all applications and the sample selected from error-prone applications, plus the lesser of 0.5% or 500 applications with SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR case numbers. Section 5-4. Indicate the number of applications considered error-prone as of October 1st. Error-prone means applications within $100 per month of the applicable income eligibility guideline. Section 5-5. Indicate the number of applications selected for verification. Section 5-6. Check this box if direct verification was not conducted in the LEA. Direct verification is the process of submitting student names to the agency administering an eligible program to verify eligibility, such as the local food stamp office. If 5-6 is checked, skip Section 5-7. Section 5-7. Indicate the number of applications and number of students whose free or reduced price eligibility was confirmed through direct verification with SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR. Medicaid is not applicable for Missouri. Section 5-8. For each original benefit type, report the number of applications and students for each result in categories 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do not include the direct verification applications and students reported in Sections 5-7A and 5-7B. Section VC-1. Report the number of applications as of November 15th that are verified for cause in addition to the verification requirement. Enter NA if not applicable.
Verification for cause follows the same process as the normal verification process. However, you're just verifying them not because they're one of the applications selected, but more because you think something is false on that application and you want some further clarification.
When the LEA recognizes the November 15th deadline will not be met or has not been met, an extension must be requested from the state agency. The request must include the circumstances for non-completion and the corrective action plan with a specific deadline for completion of verification. Upload the corrective action plan using the DESI web application. Students eligible for free meals based on categorical eligibility are classified under the same category as the person who extended the eligibility. Directly certified students extend eligibility to all other students in the household, and they too are directly certified. Report them as free eligible, not subject to verification. Students from households whose application includes a SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR case number are eligible for free meals. Report them as free eligible, categorically eligible, subject to verification. Remember these important dates in the verification process. October 1st, select the sample size of applications. This is for FNS 742 reporting only. November 15th, verification completed. December 15th, verification report due. Now that you have finished the verification module, complete the following brief quiz.